Hey, this is Stacia, and we are going to take a look at my round 3 game played at the second annual Joyen Memorial, which I helped to organize. We had 139 players. Grandmaster Brian Smith was there. FIDE Master Arvind Gyra. I'm sorry, I forgot his last name, but Arvind was there. Actually, I just can't pronounce it. Several others. So, lots of young national masters, I'll say that. Well, national masters in general, and lots of out of towners. So, it was a pretty cool event, pretty classy. I enjoyed helping with the event, and I enjoyed playing in the event. And two of my favorite students were there as well. So, we were analyzing games and such. Actually, make that three. There's actually three. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this one. So, okay, it's Saturday. I just finished my two G60 games, and now it's time to play real chess. It's classical chess, 100%, G100 with 30-second increment, and I've played Peter McKenna, I think, a couple times. I've never taken a win against him. I think maybe I played him 3 times. No, just twice. I've never had a win against him, though. I did draw him the last time I played him. But now his rating's not over 1900 anymore. He's currently at his floor, sadly. Probably because of the rise of the kids. They're terrorizing everybody, including me. And I'm helping develop them, too. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and look at the game. Okay, so this game, he played d4, and I actually wasn't expecting this necessarily. The last time I played him, he went, I actually did a tiny bit of opening prep right before because I found out the pairing 30 minutes. Last time he went like this, and after d5, he went c4, and I was already at a book. I was like, I don't know what to play against this. And I played like e6, which is a terrible move. Or no, I think I played knight f6, which is even worse, because then they can actually take with a pawn, and now e4 can be played with tempo on the knight. I do recall that from last year. Instead, I could play d4, but I wasn't comfortable with d4. I've played this in several blitz games, and I feel like, white has moves like this, and I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing, and I don't see it enough to remember my improvements. So I was planning something different here. I think I was just going to take. I mean, I do play the Queen's Gambit accepted, so maybe we'll transpose. And if we don't, some of the themes will be familiar. So anyway, I don't know if I'll do that if that ever happens again, but just a little side. Yeah, but he didn't even play knight f3. He played d4 right away. So d5, knight f3, knight f6, and e3. Okay. Yeah, he plays a bit cagey in the openings, which is a lot of strong players do that, actually. But if I'm not mistaken, this is a Colle system now. So I went c5. That's my normal move. He went c3. And here, if this is a London system and the bishop was on f4, I would go queen b6. I think queen b6 is pretty strong. But with the bishop on c1, queen b6 makes no sense because we're not attacking the pawn that it leaves behind. So I just went knight c6, bishop d3, bishop g4. Yeah, so this part of the game, I mean, the big decision is, do I try to put my bishop outside the chain or not? I do know that if you do this, if you spend time doing this, sometimes this diagonal can become very weak and c6 can get attacked a lot. So I knew that, and I was kind of calculating it out a bit. But I even thought, okay, I can play bishop g4, and then I don't have to play e6. I can always come back. So I played it. Let's see what the opening book says. Oh wow, it's the main move, and black wins most of those. Okay, good. So that's good. I assessed that right. Knight b to d2, I expected. And I'm like, okay, he's playing passively. You know, c3, knight b d2. Like, there's no knight c3, c4. You know, that's more aggressive. So I played e6. And I was still, you know, kind of watching out for bishop b5 and knight e5. But I did not expect this move. Queen a4. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, not a good feeling. So now the problem is, after queen a4, there's still bishop b5 and knight e5. And my knight is going to be very difficult to defend. It's going to be hard to defend him on c6. But I'd started doing a lot of calculating because I have time to do that. So I went bishop d6. This is something new that I learned, and I'm not sure it applies here actually. I learned that if you put your bishop on d6, you could lose a tempo. This is what I used to think, which is still true. But we lost a tempo, but white lost their center. They lost their center pawn. So I was kind of okay with that. So I went with this move. But then knight e5. Yeah. The reason I played bishop d6 was because I thought if knight e5 and bishop e5, I could take here. But oh no, as I just realized, that actually distracts my bishop away. So this happens. Yeah, so I don't know. Bishop d6, I see that in past analysis, the engine didn't like it. But let's, so what should I have played? Wow. I could play knight d7 right away. Okay. I don't play chess like that usually. Like, what is the idea with that? What is this? I mean, we're just brute force stopping knight e5? Like, oh, you know what? I've seen something like this similar. We're also breaking the pin with the knight. This is kind of cool. That's kind of a cool move. Okay, any strong players watching are going to be like, yeah, I've seen this a million times. I've noticed that once you get like over like 1600, 1700, it's like, you know, some really good stuff about chess, but then there's holes in your knowledge. So like a 1500 might know this idea, but I won't because I don't normally play positionally, you know. On the other hand, I might know some ideas that a 1500 wouldn't know. Okay, but anyway, the other move was c4, which is, again, hard to play. I don't know. That's pretty committal. We're inviting white to go for e4 plans later. But I guess if they go here... Wow, the engine just wants to take and play a6. Yeah, okay. Our queen side. Wow, that queen's almost trapped. Okay, the bishop can't go to c2 because of that. It took the squares away from the queen, so he probably has to go all the way back. Okay, then we go a6 anyway. Interesting. Wow, so there's some reason we took on f3 then. So after this, let's say we go a6. There's knight e5. Oh, well, we can't play b5 because the knight hangs. But why does this help? I think it helps because a queen is worth more than a knight, right? That's basically it. Wasn't that true before too? Yeah, they should just take and sack their queen. Wow. This is scary though. This is very scary actually. Wow. This is incredibly scary. We play Queen C7 and we invite all the discoveries. Wow. Um okay, I don't know. What's best? I don't know. There's nothing like great. There's nothing great. Can't do that. So, wow. Okay. Black's just winning. That would be a hard line for me to see, but I could see something like that maybe. Maybe. You got to calculate all the discoveries though without the pieces actually being there. Queen A4, bishop D6 takes, knight E5. This is what happened in the game. Okay, so I realized I saw this coming, but it was kind of too late. I was in it because after bishop D6, this is all forced. I'm like, okay, that just attacked my bishop again. Now, I don't want to lose a piece, so maybe I should save my bishop. So I play bishop H5. It's kind of the only move. But when you play this, you're sacking a pawn on C6, right? So that is what I did. But I actually saw a really nice resource here. So I thought I'll just lose a pawn. I thought after knight takes, b takes, queen takes, we cannot play queen d7 because there's queen takes a8 check. But we can play knight d7 and it guards the bishop. So the queen keeps guarding the rook, the knight guards the bishop. So I did see this and I thought, you know what? I'm down a pawn, but like I'm a down a pawn every game. Like that's fine. Like I'll probably have some kind of initiative. He's going to need to retreat his queen and then I can try to play precisely and get the initiative going. So this is what happened. Now I'm happy to say that the engine likes all of this and it says black is equal already. Well, after queen a4, black's equal. He really should have castled. But it's understandable why he played queen a4. This looks kind of sketchy, right? Like, why is the queen, like, is the queen coming over for some tea or is the queen coming over to get captured? I don't know. But queen a4, castles, and he just went queen c2. He's like, yeah. He's like, hit and run. I stole your pawn. I'm good. And by the way, I have a threat. I'm going to win a pawn. Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's true. Now, if I play bishop g6, he can trade. There isn't all, trading is not necessarily what I want. But on the other hand, I'm not sure what the future of this bishop is. If I don't go to g6, where on earth am I going? Am I really going to do this? That's kind of slow. And I need to keep the initiative. I play bishop g6. The engine does not like this at all, which is interesting. I think I understand why. There were several moments in this chess tournament when I kind of wasn't thinking about chess principles. I was just getting bogged down with like calculating lines and just concrete initiative stuff. And, I need to get better at remembering my chess principles during the game. Because one chess principle is that if you're down a pawn and you're playing for the initiative and you're better developed, trading pieces is better for your opponent, especially if they're cramped. And well, is white cramped? Yeah. Yes, they are. Black is the one with the center pawn. White is the one that is tripping over themselves with not enough development. So getting this bishop out of the way is actually a bad thing. So allowing this to trade, this is bad for black because I want to play knight e5 with tempo on the bishop. If I don't have that move, And I don't know what else I have, honestly. There's not a whole lot. So I do think that bishop g6 is just a plain mistake. Even though the computer calls it inaccurate or dubious. I think it's a mistake. Okay, castles. Yeah, and here I played queen b6. Once again, the engine wants f5. Why? To stop the trade of bishops. I'm sure that's why. Okay, but I went queen b6. And now he could trade bishops and be better. Just be up a pawn. But my opponent didn't understand the position either. I don't think either one of us really understood it well. So he went e4. Now this move makes a lot of sense. I was actually scared of this move. I thought this is the best move at the time of the game. Because I'm the one that wants the initiative, you know? And his one problem piece, well, I guess the other ones are a little bit weird. But this piece is a big problem. And the move e4 opens that bishop up. So that's what my opponent's doing. He's like, look, I'm going to get my bishop out, and then I'm going to be a pawn up. And, you know, and I'm going to grind you down, and that final pawn will become a queen, and I'll win. And I said, stop talking. This is a chess tournament. No, just kidding. He doesn't say much. Okay, so after e4, I have this move, knight e5. Okay, so the computer was basically saying, don't trade the bishops, don't trade the bishops. My opponent and I both agreed not to trade the bishops, apparently, through our actions. And now I had knight e5, and now I do have an initiative. So he went b4, attacking my bishop. I went bishop e7. Wow. I have the engine on by accident, and it's giving bishop takes f2. Okay, I just turned it off. I don't know why on earth this would work. So let's try to figure it out. What is this? That is fascinating. I mean, I looked at this during the game, and I thought rook takes, and okay, what's the big deal? Oh my gosh. Attack the pinned rook, right? Knight g4? That has to be good. That has to be good. How do they protect? Like knight b3? Wow. Okay, let's look at it. Yeah, it is knight g4, and it is knight b3. Maybe I am getting better at chess. Yeah, and then we can take on e4 because, again, this just follows chess principles. When you are the one better developed, you want to do pawn captures and pawn breaks. You want to open up the position for your more active pieces. And this is annoying. So, wow. Okay, very interesting. I saw bishop takes f2, but I did not see that knight g4. So I just went bishop e7. This is still better for black, though. Okay, I gotta turn the engine off before I go crazy. Yeah, I went rook f to c8. Let's make white uncomfortable. And by the way, that c3 pawn is weak. I was actually happy to see b4 because I thought, okay, you know, I'm better developed and there's a weakness. I'm going to pile up on the weakness and white's going to have trouble defending it. That was my thought. Rook e2. Yeah, and he missed the threat of bishop takes b4. So I got my pawn back now, and I'm better developed. So now black must be better. That's what I thought. Bishop b2. Okay. Now, I was a little nervous about playing bishop takes b4 because if you play bishop takes b4, you've got to deal with rook b1. You have to have a plan for that. I thought if rook b1, you know what I was going to play? Rook takes c3. Yeah, rook takes c3. And if rook takes b4, I was going to play rook takes c2. And then there's rook takes b6. And I thought I could take with check, you know, and then I'll recapture. That's what I thought. Now let's use the engine and see if I was right. Rook b1. Oops. Oh, here, rook b1. All right, and I was going to play this move. Okay, the engine likes it, I see. And I thought, oh, I did calculate this too. But I thought I can still take the knight, and now I'll take the bishop. Wow. Black's only slightly better after rook takes e6. Okay. I need to calculate a little further, I guess. All right. But black's a little better at least. So after rook b1 here, I thought if they go here, I could take here. Yeah, this is true. This is winning. After this. Yeah, what do they do, right? Knight f1. Black's very winning. Okay, so I calculated all that, and I'm like, look, I can take the pawn. If you want to play rook b1, I've got some plans. So it takes, but he didn't play rook b1, he played bishop b2. I think just desperate to get the bishop in the game. Yeah, queen d8. It's funny, I mean, I analyzed this with a few people, and I thought queen d8 was a little bit weird, but most everybody kind of thought it was a good move. I mean, the idea is that eventually the rook's going to come to b1. That's one reason. My queen cannot stay here. Another reason is that maybe I can bring my queen out to the king side. And another reason is that maybe I can play d4. So I liked all the reasons. So I played queen d8. Always retreat. That's what Ben Feingold says. So, okay. My opponent played f4. Okay. So I analyzed this game with my opponent, which was a real treat. Because Peter McKenna, he's sort of a legend in a way. He's been around for a long time, and I mean, he's been over 2,000. He's basically a USCF expert. But f4, you know, he's just trying to get completely untangled, get this knight out of here. But I was happy to see f4. I was calculating it a lot. I was like, okay, you know, f4 and this diagonal, you know, opens up. I've got a dark square bishop. I've got queen b6 check. You know, that just gives me more to work with. So I did play queen b6 check. Yeah, I had some crazy ideas here. What did I see? I saw knight g4. That's definitely one thing I saw. I saw bishop c5. Okay. Well, in the game, that is the top move. Queen b6 check. He went king f1. And yeah, this threat was here for a long time, actually. I didn't really mention it, but the problem for white is that I can always take, and then play bishop takes e4. So I decided to go takes, and well, I went bishop d6 because my bishop's hanging. So I played that, and I thought he can't play this because he's pinned. I'll win a queen. So instead, so I like bishop d6 for that reason, and it also attacks a pawn. So if there's no e5 and I'm attacking a pawn, that looks pretty good. If you want to go g3, you just weaken more squares around the king. So I thought all of this was looking pretty good, and I thought if f5, which was played, I can play d takes e4 because that's a tempo on the queen. Can't take my bishop and win your queen, right? So So I played this move. He took with a knight. And, well, I went pawn hunting. Bishop takes h2. This is what I planned here. Now you're like, Stacia, you hung your bishop. Oh yeah, I did. Nah. I have checkmate. Checkmate in 1. Come on, you guys. Stay with me. Okay, yeah. That's why bishop takes h2 is strong, because it has a mate threat. If it didn't have that, I probably wouldn't do it, but he can't take my bishop, so king e1. Now he can't take my bishop, because after queen g1, there's king d2, right? He's getting away. So I went bishop takes e5, c4. And now I really love my next move. It's funny that the engine doesn't give it at all, because to me, it feels like it just wins. So, okay, here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to have to explain this so you understand. I want to play queen g1 check and say checkmate. That's what I want to do. But the king will run, right? He'll run to the d file. Well, how about we run to the d file too? So I played rook d8. Tax the queen. When the queen moves out of the way, guess what's covered by our rook? So this is why I thought this move is good. I thought he had to block with the queen here, like queen e3 or maybe queen d4 or something like that. I thought after queen e3, I must be winning somehow. Must be. Can probably just trade. Can I just trade? I mean, we've got 2 bishops, a safe king, more pawns. I mean, what more do you want in life? Black's winning. But rook d8, and he played queen c3, which I also thought he might do because, you know, I might blunder checkmate. I've done it before. And unfortunately for me, I played bishop takes knight, and he played queen takes g7, and I cried. No, I'm just kidding. I saw the threat. Did I trick you? Yeah, instead I have checkmate in 1. So I played that instead, and that's how the game ended. Yay. So yay, Stacia, you won 2 games in a row. Yeah, and I brilliantly sacked my pawn in this game. No, I'm just kidding. I was forced. It was all forced. But I have to say that, yeah, like this position, I did not know this position. And I mean, the engine says, you know, black's fine, whatever. I mean, okay. When you're over the board in this position, you're wondering if you're completely lost. Like if you're just going to win material, just lose material like right now. And I had to calculate, and I was like, oh, knight d7. Okay, I'm okay. Knight d7. Everything's protected. Queen a4. I mean, and now I've got to have an initiative, otherwise I am lost. I mean, white looks super solid. White looks super solid. But my opponent's mistake was this move e4. Yeah, e4 allowed me to get the counterplay that I deserve. Yeah. And after that, though, I think I played fairly well for the most part. I was calculating a lot. I kept the initiative. And I found a mate at the end. So, and that's a nice win for me because he is a stronger player. I'm not going to lie. He's a stronger player than me. He's proved that in other games, by the way. But I got lucky this time and grabbed a W. So at this point in the tournament, I was 2 out of 3 and feeling pretty good. So the next day is Sunday. The first game was at 9:30 a.m., followed by a last round game at 2:30 p.m. So I will definitely be back with those 2 games. So stay tuned, and I will see you there. Okay, bye.